Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. I am your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day, Ozzy. Now, sorry I'm a little late today, running on you-know-what time in honor of MLK Day. I can't say that word anymore because I have been remonetized. So with that, guys, you guys can drop super chats. And if you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday, or you just like seeing the kitty of the day, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications so you can see when I'm live and when I drop new videos. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine. It's a beautiful day.
I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
Good morning. Just me today, so we're on to the normal format. We'll start off today's show with our Icebreaker content, as we normally do. The fun, the funny, the gen pop, something along those lines. Then we'll get a little bit more serious, get into the foreign policy roundup. Do usually about, I don't know, give or take a half hour or so on that. And then we'll get into our main topics today. We got Fuentes Age of Consent. We got no more Epstein files, and ICE and other feds, and more. We'll see if we get into that more, or what all really comes into that last segment. But we have plenty to go through with you all today. I did get remonetized, so if you guys do want to drop a super chat, super thanks, super gift, any of those super duper things they do these days, feel free, go right ahead. That is one good way to get to the front of the line. You can do that on Rumble as well, but Rumble's weird, doesn't really integrate well with StreamYard, so I don't really get notifications for those, so I do feel bad when you guys, but I mean, obviously, you know, if you want to give me money, go for it, but I may not be able to see it, so just saying, you know, if you do want to give me money on Rumble, I may not see the super chat. I don't really monitor the Rumble chat individually, and it doesn't really show up on my StreamYard interface that I have here, so sorry, maybe one of these days I can figure out a way how to fix that. I think there is. But you guys can super chat me. You could, which I had that years ago. I think Phil's been around the channel long enough. You know, I lost it for saying really what was a very tepid comment about the Civil War. I think it said something along the lines of like, maybe, you know, the North and Lincoln aren't quite the angels they were made out to be, and maybe the South and Booth aren't, you know, quite the devils they were made out to be. Maybe it's a little bit more complex than that. And I really think that was like, there wasn't really anything more saucy than that. And I think that's roughly the timestamp they gave, and it was for supporting violent organizations, which, I mean, I do have stronger thoughts on the Civil War than that, but that was pretty weak one. So we'll see how long this lasts. I don't know. So laying off the hard R maybe for a minute. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably slip right back into it. I can't help it. I can't censor myself. But, you know, for the time being, you can super chat me. So I don't know. Also, let me know if any of you guys like the YouTube memberships. Maybe I'll consider doing that. I haven't opened that up yet. Probably won't. But if there's enough clamoring for it, I might do so. But you guys got multiple ways to support. If you guys do want the subscription method, we got the Patreon up here. I also give you guys some perks, and then you guys can do the old super chat. I probably will pick up a work shift tomorrow, but hey, if you guys want to super chat a bunch, how about this? If you guys hit over $100 in super chats a day, I will not hit up my boss to pick up a shift tomorrow. If we hit over 150, if he hits up me, I'll say I can't for whatever reason. So just throwing that out there. We'll see. We probably won't hit it, but I think you're supposed to do that. If I'm going to be a money grubbing whore, you're supposed to set like limits. Ooh, we're meeting our goal for the day or whatever. I don't know. I'm not very good at being grifty. But enough of that, guys. Enough hemming and hawing. You guys can give me money if you want to. Super chats are up and running now, so cool. Hell yeah. I think I might get a little ad revenue as well. So nice. That's cool. Things are coming around. But let's go ahead and get into the introductory content, our icebreaker type stuff. Things are getting out of hand in Minneapolis. We have gotten to a crazy fever pitch. There's been a major escalation. Here's this video of them chasing a protester, and it just gets out of hand. So enjoy this.
We are live over downtown Minneapolis where, yes, that is a protester in a Viking costume marching down the street doing the techno Viking dance. 15 ICE agents are on his heels, but look at this. He's pulling away. We are live over downtown.
Okay, that was dumb, but whatever. Hey, a nice techno Viking callback for those who remember the old days of YouTube. Fun times, fun times. Moving on, one of the wildest things you've probably ever seen. What's this guy's name? Rappaport? I always forget his name. Michael Rappaport. Apparently, he's the bitter irony, not bitter, actually, the great irony of what I'm about to show you here is apparently he had the gall to talk mad shit about Mamdani before, which... That's fine. You know, I don't necessarily have any love lost for Mamdani. I mean, I will give him a little ups for being one of the only people willing to kind of not, you know, completely throw Israel's cock down the back of their throat. Oh no, there goes the monetization. So I'll give him a little bit ups for that, but he is kind of a commie and he kind of a bit of a goof. So, you know, I'm totally open to making fun of him, but when you're Michael Rappaport, especially with this video I'm about to show you, oh my God! But here's Michael Rappaport to kind of set the stage for this clip I'm about to show you. This utterly astounding thing you're about to see. He said this a while back. He said to a couple photos of Mamdani eating like ethnic food, you know, the sort of stuff that you kind of eat with your hands, and like I don't know, yeah, let's be real, it's kind of gross. It's kind of like you're like. Yeah, you know, you get racist real quick once you start seeing people dig into the food with their hands. You're like, oh my God. Well, yeah, Mamdani's doing that. But that pales in comparison to what we're about to see Rappaports do. But let's see what Rappaport had to say about Mamdani back in the day. He says, the dude's out here eating with his bare hands in one photo op. Then he's on the train eating a burrito all proper with a fork and knife like he's at La Bernardine. What the fuck is going on here? Is this a campaign or a food vlog? Where does he keep the hot sauce in his rent-stabilized apartment or the campaign's Qatari-funded mini-fridge? Well, without further ado, just enjoy this. Actually, never mind, that's not the video. Let's see if I can find the video. Here you go. Just utterly astounding. You will be blown away. Look at this, and behold, this is Michael Rappaport in his full glory.
So happy together.
All right, let's watch that again. Look at that. Who the fuck eats like that? Who... I have children. I have raised children, and I have never seen them do something so crazy as this. Just full fucking mouth, wide open, as far as you can imagine. Just put the edge of a plate into his face hole, and then just shoveling the food into it. The most bizarre. I mean, I've done the thing where you kind of like scoop off the plate when you're just like, man, this shit's good. But this is a whole other level. Just get one more recap of this. Let's do it in slow-mo. Let's watch it in slow-mo. Let's do it in slow. I'm moving it in slow-mo and realizing how great this is. Let's watch it on 0.25. Let's watch.
So happy together.
He's just shoveling it in there. All right, moving on to the last one, the last goofy little tidbit I have for you guys. I guess a little bit of a follow-up on whatever the fuck's going on with Candace and time traveling and Charlie Kirk having special powers and her being an alien or something, which, who knows? Maybe we'll get into that later. I'm trying to avoid the Candace craziness because it seems frankly fucking retarded. But here's a little... I couldn't help but notice that that's the latest round of claims going around. One second. Well, here's partially what it was based off of, because it's funny. Here you go. Here's one chick going, Candace claims Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. She's insane. She's psychotic. And then obviously, I'm assuming this Lori Love here is probably one of the people, you know, putting up for Candace here. And she goes, correction. Charlie Kirk said he was a time traveler. Apparently, Candace is on it again, sharing embarrassing texts of Charlie Kirk. Here is the text exchange. No, this is from Candace to start it off with. I'm an alien. Frowny face. And then Charlie says, I think I'm a time traveler. This is my home, but I think you found me and time traveled with me. I guess this is the basis, partially what she's going off of, which, okay, this is what Charlie's saying to her. Now, it's funny. I think this person may have nailed it. This Lana the Bug. They're saying, what's killing me is this absolutely looked like he tried a romantic moment, but she took it completely literally. So just one of those things, when someone's throwing you strong hints and you completely miss it. Looks like Candace completely missed it. Although, do I have a little bit of a feeling that Charlie was probably a little bit more of the fruitcake variety, so maybe it was legit, but who knows? All right, let's roll through the chat, say our good mornings. Now, I will say with the super chat in full force, I know I do read pretty much damn near most, not all the chats, but at least the good mornings I do. And then, if it seems like something worthwhile, and I usually do even try to read when people are being mean, just because whatever, it's funny. But hey, I guess in the future, I'm going to try not to read mean stuff. So you're going to have to give me money for that. So just saying before we get into the initial good mornings of the day, we'll say everyone being nice, we'll say hi to you. Everyone being mean, you got to give me money or I'm going to ignore you. Good morning, Black Eye. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Tilla Spook. Saying the verse of the day, chapter 9, verse 22 for, I don't know what book this is coming out of, but this is from the Marcionite Church of Christ. He's saying, all things were delivered to me by my Father, and no man knoweth who the Father is, but the Son, and who the Son is, but the Father, and he to whomsoever the Son wishes to reveal him. Very cool. I mean, you guys know I'm not religious, but hey, you are a supporter of the show, and I do love you, Tilla, so I will share that. Tilla also says, good Morgan Nick-ers, making sure I'm clarifying I'm using Q's there, because I do not want to lose that monetization, at least not yet. We'll see how long that lasts. Good morning, Gerald. Good morning. Jose loves Israel and his cats do too. Yeah, we all believe that they have a right to defend themselves. So I think if you add that up, that's $7,000 for me and each cat. It adds up real quick. Good morning, Tucker Delay, saying good morning, Jose. Fuentes is a gay fed. Perhaps he is. As I've said before, though, I will say, maybe after today, that's not going to be as true with some of the information I'm going to drop today. But I will say, of the people who frequently get fed jacketed, of the major characters like the Candaces, the Tuckers, I'd say Fuentes is the one that has the least oomph to that claim. The only thing you can give to that claim is vibes, really, for the most part, or he did this thing, or oh, that was super fed posty that one time, the one thing he did. But so far as I don't know, being married to literal royalty, or being I don't know, all the crazy spookiness, your dad being part of or having to running the contracts for Sandy Hook, or your dad working for Voice of America, the CIA, not even a cutout. It just was basically CIA. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just any of these major characters out there, Fuentes is there isn't a thing like that. You just have it's just vibe based. So I'm open to him being a fed. The gay thing seems, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. You never know. You never know what's in someone's head. But I will say, the hand does a flop about a bunch. So I don't know. Whatever. To each their own. That's fine. Maybe he's just not a big masculine guy. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Silence. Thanks for reposting the stream. If you guys are on Twitter, be sure to give it a like and a retweet, or really anywhere. Be sure to give it a like, share, subscribe, doing all those good things. Bug Fight says happy Lee Jackson Day. Happy. Whoa, you try and get me demonetized over here. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. Working on a tower, I see. Good morning, Jug the Goat. Good morning. Good morning, Nevsky. God, you guys are really trying to get me demonetized. Happy Robbery Lee Day. Nevsky said that, not me, YouTube. Nevsky said that. Let me see what else we got. Good morning, WC Cola. So you're our only hope. You're our only hope, Techno Viking. Yes, Techno Viking could solve it all. Nevsky says Mamdani reversed his stance on Israel, didn't he? I don't know if he reversed it. I know there's a lot of people that were kind of saying that I know I had Wolfson on my show a while ago, Matt Wolfson, and he was talking about his police commissioner, I believe, was Tish. I forget her first name, but she's from the Tish family, all clicked up in supergroup shit. So I don't think he technically changed any sort of stance as far as I know, but a lot of his actions lead you to be same boss, old boss, same, kind of the same as the new boss type deal. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to get Matt back on the show. So because I know he's wrote a couple pieces. I read a few of them, and they really tie into things going on right now. So we'll have to bring him back on. Maybe ask him a little bit more about that. Good morning, Fat Cat says happy James Earl Ray Day. Happy. Good morning. Oh, Who's the smoke show? Who are you talking about? Me, Black Eye? Who were we showing 6 minutes ago? Was there a cutie pie? I don't even remember who we were showing. Good morning, Chemical General says about to take a bite out of that plate. Yep. Nevsky says that's the only way to eat foreskins. Yeah, Rappaport would know. God, you guys are trying to get me demonetized. Let me see what else we got. William Miller says, remember that time Fuentes told people we're taking the Capitol on J6? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like that right there. That's one of those ones where you're like, that is a fair point to bring up if you are fed jacketing a human being. But it is also like, compared to, like, so there's just, he said some stuff that you're like, well, that was a bit, that's what I was meaning when I was like something that's a bit Fed posty. I mean, I guess maybe Fed posty might not even be saying it right. Fedy, because you're not posting it. This is in real life Fed posting, I guess. So I don't know. It's up. You can interpret that however you want when it comes to the whole J6 thing. But yeah, so far as like actually having legitimate connections that we know of that you go, whoa, what the fuck? He is probably in the lower on the totem pole. It's like less confirmed, I guess you could say. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning. Good to see you here. Good morning, PhD Nick Rivera. Good morning. Who else we got? Good morning, everyone. All right, we're all caught up in in our first round of good mornings. We'll get you on the next bout after the foreign policy. Let's get into our foreign policy roundup. Looks like we're going full regime change in Iran. Sorry, I'm all stuffed up for some reason. It didn't even just start till right at the beginning of the episode. I thought it was fine beforehand, so sorry if I sound kind of nasally. My bad. But here's Kyle writing a piece over at antiwar.com. It says, time to look for new leadership in Iran. So President Donald Trump suggested the U.S. was still planning to conduct a regime change in Iran. It's time to look for new leadership in Iran, Trump told Politico on Saturday. The remarks came after the president decided not to attack Iran on Wednesday. Trump was considering strikes on Iran after the Islamic Republic cracked down on protesters. He made multiple statements encouraging the demonstrators and threatening the Iranian government. Trump has also said he would attack the Islamic Republic for rebuilding its nuclear program and missile facilities. While Trump elected not to attack Iran last week, U.S. officials say strikes are still an option. According to sources speaking with Axios, a decision point could come within weeks. The U.S. currently has a significantly smaller military presence in the Middle East than it did during the Israeli war against Iran in June. One reason Trump backed away from attacking Iran was the concern the strikes would not successfully remove the government. Additionally, the U.S. lacks missile defense systems in the region to protect American forces in Israel from retaliatory strikes. However, the U.S. is ramping up its military footprint in the Middle East as the USS Abraham Lincoln is set to arrive in the region later this week. Advocates for regime change in Iran often call for installing Reza Pahlavi in Tehran. Pahlavi is the son of the former Shah of Iran, who was deposed by the Islamic Revolution. Trump dismissed the idea of Pahlavi taking power, suggesting he lacked popular support in Iran. So it looks like he at least gets it on that end. It is kind of ridiculous, the idea of we're going to preserve democracy in the region, we're going to destroy, I don't even think you could consider this current system democracy, but either way, install a monarchy, which, if you guys have checked out my Democracy, the God That Failed series, I mean, you guys know how I feel about monarchy in relation to democracy. It is a superior version, but I'm still not here for toppling regimes in order to install them, but it is preferable. But it is ridiculous given the current dynamic, the current zeitgeist. Most people do not have that opinion. And then we had Israel over here opposing the Gaza peace plan that we're getting ready to go into phase 2. 1 second, let me get a sip. So, sorry, my bad. I clicked over to the wrong one. Tel Aviv did not provide details on its issues with Trump's Gaza board. A source, actually, my bad, I started the wrong spot. Netanyahu said the White House's executive committee to run Gaza is problematic for Israel. And here is straight from a tweet from the Prime Minister of Israel from his office, says the announcement regarding the composition of the Gaza Executive Board, which is subordinate to the Board of Peace, was not coordinated with Israel and runs contrary to its policy. So we covered this the other day, went through some of the people. I was kind of shocked that it seems like Hamas was actually cool with it. I was expecting some problems. Well, here are the problems. And of course, as always, the problem is Israel. Tel Aviv did not provide details on its issues with Trump's Gaza board. A source told Haaretz that the public rebuke was for show, and Netanyahu was aware of the planning for the executive committee. Netanyahu's public statement drew a sharp rebuke from Washington. This is our show, not his show. We managed to do things in Gaza in recent months nobody thought was possible, and we were going to continue moving. We got some strong words. Some strongly worded letters to Israel. Oh my God, things are heating up. Maybe we'll actually grow some balls. We won't. A U.S. official told Axios in response to the Israeli Prime Minister's statement, if he wants us to deal with Gaza, it will have to be our way. We worked over him, let him focus on Iran, and let us deal with Gaza. We are not going to argue with him. He will do his politics, and we'll keep moving forward with our plan. He can't really go against us. On Friday, White House announced that Trump was the chair of the executive committee that includes Witkoff, Kushner, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The executive committee will carry out the directives of the Board of Peace led by Trump. The president has invited some world leaders to join the board and is selling seats for $1 billion. Oh my God. Okay, that seems... With the creation of the executive committee, the White House claimed that Trump's Gaza peace deal had advanced to phase 2. However, Hamas also objects to the executive committee. The Palestinian group points out that Tel Aviv has failed to uphold several of its commitments to phase 1, including opening the Rafah crossing and allowing temporary housing into Gaza. Tel Aviv claims that Hamas is violating the agreement by not returning the body of an Israeli captive. So, by the way, to be very clear, where we're at now, which this is something they said from the jump, like one of the conditions that was that they were going to get them back all of the bodies and also all the hostages, like the Israeli hostages, and in return, I believe it was like a portion of Palestinians' hostages, like their prisoners of war or whatever. I don't even think they got all of theirs. There was way more Palestinian hostages. But either way, part of it was the bodies because of these. Some of the ones who didn't make it, mostly probably, let's be real, due to the indiscriminate bombing that was occurring. So most of the time it's probably actually Israel that killed them because Palestinians would have no real reason, or Hamas would have no real reason to kill any of the hostages, considering as that's their leverage for a deal. But they'd even said at the jump kind of like, hey, when they were setting up this deal that like, hey, we may not be able to get all of them. You got to kind of work with us a little bit here. Despite that, they've gotten to the point where I believe they've gone every single one of them except for one body that I believe they just kind of, the last I heard, it was just that they were struggling to find it, which totally makes sense. They even said they lost contact with a lot of their different fighters here and there, some of the people holding hostages, yada, yada, yada. So it completely makes sense that one body, a deceased human being, and that is the main thing that the Israeli government has pointed to, a literal corpse, a human being that is no longer with us, which, don't get me wrong, you should be, if they have the corpses, they should return them. It never should have been made into a corpse in the first place. Ideally, yada, 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 but it is literally a dead person. It cannot be undeadified. They are currently dead. I mean, unless some crazy miracle happens, they can't be undeaded. So people are currently being... there is more death and destruction occurring due to the fact that there is one person that's dead that they can't find the body. So, moving on to Greenland, it is heating up over there. To kind of set the stage first, I thought it was kind of funny. Here's Ryan Grimm. This will tie into Greenland, and you'll be surprised. But apparently, Trump isn't the first person to be gifted a Nobel Prize. We covered this the other day. That Trump, the Machado broad, the fucking what do we call her? I'm trying to think of what we would call her. The establishment hack that was kind of like always calling for regime change. We all thought would be the person who was going to kind of be the puppet master for the establishment whenever they took over Venezuela. No such luck. She was the one who actually received the Nobel Prize, the Machado broad. Trump was really, aiming for it, and he seemed to be upset about it. We're going to see more proof to this, but I thought it was kind of funny. Ryan Grimm's pointed out that Trump isn't the first person to be gifted one, because as I mentioned a minute ago, Machado recently gifted her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump. But here we go. Here is an excerpt from something. It says, awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature in 1920, Knut Hamsun was a towering figure in Norwegian letters. He was also a Nazi sympathizer and supporter of the German occupation of Norway during the Second World War. In 1943, Hamsun sent his Nobel medal to Third Reich propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels as a token of his admiration and authorize a reverential obituary for Hitler in May 1945. So, I mean, that's all we need to really read about there. But just it's funny that Trump has joined an elite group of people who have been gifted Nobel Peace Prizes by others. The one other person in this elite group is Goebbels. We're the world we live in. Then kind of you'll see how this ties into Greenland now. Apparently there's this letter that got sent over to Norway's prime minister, which I think Norway has something to do with the ownership of Greenland or something. It says the letter reportedly ties Norway's... Now, this has been confirmed by, apparently, according to this Brian Allen guy on Twitter. I haven't looked too deeply into it. If I'm wrong, let me know, or if I find out, I'll let you guys know later. But it says confirmed, Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store has acknowledged Trump's letter is real. The letter reportedly ties Norway's Nobel Peace Prize decision to Greenland. Question Denmark's right of ownership. Actually, yeah, never mind. Norway has nothing to do with this, so this is even kind of funnier. I guess it's Denmark that has the ownership of Greenland, which that's a whole separate other issue. It is weird that Denmark owns Greenland because they aren't actually in Greenland, but beside the point. And it declares the world isn't secure unless the U.S. has complete and total control of Greenland. It says PBS's Nick Schifrin reported the text was obtained from multiple officials and circulated by NSC staff to European ambassadors. It reads like a meme. It's not. Here is the tweet, or not the tweet, but the letter in question. It's from the White House. It says, Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. Holy shit. Although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. What a weird statement. Even the first paragraph, right at the jump, like, because you didn't give me the Nobel Peace Prize, I no longer feel obligated to think purely of peace. As if he was doing that to begin with. But now he's like, oh, it'll always be predominant. Like, okay. But now I think about what's good and proper. So now he's saying I'm prioritizing what's good and proper for the U.S. over war. So now he's like, we're going full war if it benefits the United States. Whereas before, I was just prioritizing peace, regardless of if it benefits the United States. Now, I'd be of the opinion that these wars don't actually benefit the United States. I think a lot of people think that is the case. Oh, we'll get the resources and it'll be so great and yada, yada, yada. No, you're fucking retarded. It's going to end up, basically probably being a wash. And if anyone gets rich, it's not going to be you. So, Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyways? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. So I don't know, maybe we'll see if this isn't real later. I mean, I did kind of look around the comments, see some other, other different things that seem to confirm it. So this seems like something so bizarre that it wouldn't be real. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll come to find out there's some lie here, but it seems fairly legit to me. Apparently, Trump digs in as Europe sends troops to Greenland. We got troops heading over there, European troops getting ready to protect the area, I guess. So as Wednesday's talks between American, Danish, and Greenland officials expose the unbridgeable gulf between Donald Trump's territorial ambitions and respect for sovereignty. Trump now claims the U.S. needs Greenland to support the Golden Dome missile defense initiative. Meanwhile, European leaders are sending a small number of troops to Greenland. On Wednesday, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio sat down with Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen and Greenlandic Foreign Minister Vivian Motzfeldt, attempting to find common ground on what has become a surreal crisis. There was a fundamental disagreement, Rasmussen told reporters afterward. Rasmussen said he was unable to change Trump's position. It's clear that the president has his wish of conquering over Greenland. His Greenlandic counterpart, Vivian Motzfeldt, reiterated her compatriot's firm stance. Greenland does not want to be owned by, governed by, or part of the United States. The meeting, arranged after a week of escalating threats from Trump, was supposed to diffuse tensions. Instead, the president is unmoved in his determination to seize Greenland. While the parties agreed to establish a high-level working group to continue discussions, this seems to be nothing more than a stalling tactic. The president continues to insist that Greenland must be in the hands of the U.S. Anything less than that is unacceptable. That's all we'll read for that piece. You go check this out at responsiblestatecraft.com, or you can find it also over at antiwar.com at the main page. That's where I pulled it from, as always. And we also got tariffs in the mix. Tariffs solidifying this Greenlandic expansion, or attempting to. So Trump has announced a 10% tariff on 8 European countries that objected to his efforts to purchase Greenland, insisting that Washington must control the territory for the sake of world peace. Announced on Saturday, Trump said the strong measures will target Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the UK, adding that they would take effect on February 1st. He vowed to ramp up the tariffs further in the coming months should those states continue to oppose U.S. control of Greenland, a Danish territory since the 18th century. So on June 1st, 2026, the tariff will be increased to 25%. This tariff will be due and payable until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland, the president continued, adding that Washington is immediately open to negotiation with Denmark and/or any of these countries. He went on to insist that world peace was at stake, claimed that both Beijing and Moscow want Greenland. He provided no evidence for the claim, but added the territory is vital to the proposed Golden Dome missile defense shield. So we've got tariffs up on these motherfuckers now. And then also we got warnings of military activity over Mexico and South America. So a little concerning, as we've mentioned the show multiple times. The whole South American thing is so concerning because, hey, if the whole logic for all of this stuff, and I guess unless you're leaning into the oil logic, is especially if you're leaning into the drug logic, it's like, well, then by that logic, you'd think the best area to invade or fuck with would be Mexico. But I'm obviously very, very concerned about that because that is to our southern border. The violence can easily spill over to the United States. So I know everyone's, this is our hemisphere. Oh, the Monroe Doctrine. Exactly. It is our hemisphere. So please stop fucking with it. I'd almost rather a Middle Eastern war than something happening in our own hemisphere, because it means problems a whole lot closer to home. But we got the FAA issuing a series of advisories suggesting aircraft should be prepared for U.S. military activity over Mexico and South America. So they're suggesting the aircraft should be prepared. So they're putting out these warnings that, hey, there's going to be military activity going on here. They warn a potential risk exists for aircraft at all altitudes, including during overflight and the arrival and departure phases of flight. The FAA issued flight advisory notices to airmen for specified areas of Mexico, Central America, Panama, Bogota, Guayaquil, sounds like medicine, and Mazatlan oceanic flight regions, and an airspace within the Eastern Pacific Ocean. The FAA issued a similar warning about Venezuela before the U.S. attacked the country and kidnapped Maduro. Trump has threatened military action against Mexico and Colombia. So we'll see how this plays out. Not looking too great. Then over in Syria, they're claiming that they got him. Mission accomplished. I don't know if you guys remember a little bit ago, we had that weird Syrian attack where a supposed ISIS member or whatever killed a couple people in an ambush. Kind of seemed a little squirrely, but I guess they're saying they got him. So the U.S. says an airstrike in northwestern Syria has killed an Al-Qaeda affiliated leader who had ties to ISIS member involved in a deadly ambush of U.S. forces last month. CENTCOM said on Saturday that an airstrike a day earlier killed Bilal Hassan al-Jassim, who was directly connected with the ISIS gunman who killed and injured American and Syrian personnel in mid-December. There is no safe place for those who conduct, plot, or inspire attacks on American citizens and our warfighters. We will find you, CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper said in a statement. 2 U.S. soldiers and a military interpreter were killed in the ISIL ambush in the Syrian city of Palmyra on December 13th. Since then, the U.S. has carried out a series of large-scale strikes in Syria in what it says is a response to the deadly attack on U.S. forces. On Saturday, CENTCOM said U.S. forces and their partner had struck more than 100 ISIS infrastructure and weapon sites since the U.S. launched its retaliatory operation in December. Additionally, U.S. and partner forces have captured more than 300 ISIS operatives and killed over 20 across Syria during the past year. Trump had promised to inflict significant damage on those responsible for the deadly attack on U.S. troops. I could tell you, in Syria, there will be a lot of big damage done to the people who did it, Trump said on December 13th. So, I don't know, maybe there'll be more reporting on this coming soon. Obviously, I put a little bit of doubt on this, that this is really the guy. But it seems, if anything, more just putting on a stamp of like, oh, look how awesome we did. And just, trust me, bro, don't look any further. But, who knows? Maybe that is the case. If so, I guess good. I feel like I would need more information. Either way, I would say stop fucking around in Syria. That'd be great. All right, let's pop into the chat, say some more good mornings, and then we'll get into our first topic of the day. Our first main topic of the day. All right, let's see. Say good morning to anyone else in here. Here's Miller saying, I never trusted Fuentes. I know too many lesbians in Portland, Oregon that look exactly like him. Okay, fair enough. Let me see who else is in here. Now hit that like button if you're just popping in here, or even if you've been in here for a while. If you haven't hit that like button, go hit it real quick, please. I do remind you guys can support the show. Top left-hand corner. If you want to get in on the Patreon and get some perks, or if you just do want to do a one-time super chat, you guys can do that over on YouTube and on Rumble, too. So good morning, Marnik Fly. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Stinky Sock. Loving my my wall color. Thank you. Good morning, Daz. Who's making dinner for the family. We'll catch up later. Enjoy that time. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Boosting. Hell yeah, doing that on Rumble and YouTube. Appreciate it. Good morning, Rick Bev. He said, can't find this body anywhere? What body are you looking for? Good morning, Mustache. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Mustache says, I've been waking up late. Nice to catch the live. It's nice to have you here. Good to see you. Good to see you, friend. Fire Pixie saying, where's Bobo and the rest of our friends? Should be in here soon. Good morning, Stanley. Good morning. Epstein and Age of Consent laws. What is this? We're talking Age of Consent up in this motherfucker, Stanley. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready to go into full-on Age of... No, I'm not really going to Age of Consent. I'm more or less making fun of Fuentes for doing it. I don't know. We'll see. Good to have you here for the first time, Stanley. I hope you stick around. We'll see. Good morning, Chathead. Good morning. What is this about? Well, we'll be doing it's an info dump show. It's a morning show, info dump show. I kind of tag, bookmark a bunch of stuff. We go through it. Usually the first start, like I said at the beginning of the show, we start off with something a little goofy. Then we go into foreign policy, do about a half hour of that, which we're just finishing up now. And then we go into a few main topics of whatever the topics of the day are. Today we have Fuentes' Age of Consent. I'm threading together a few different clips and tweets, and I think maybe some articles in there today. Kind of talking about some of the weird stuff Fuentes has said about Epstein lately. No more Epstein files. We'll be talking about how the DOJ is openly defying the Epstein Act or whatever it's called, and kind of other stuff like that. ICE and other feds. It's going to be a little bit of a grab bag segment for that last segment there, where we have a few follow up on some ICE stories and some other, and I said, and other feds and other, just some other glowies out there, some other goofy stories like that. So we'll see. Glad to have you with us. Glad to have you here. And between each one of these, I pop in and say hi to you all. So I hope you enjoy the show. Good morning, OG Meats Balls. Good morning. Oh, we got my first super chat for at least for the last few years. Fire Pixie, when did you get monetized? I got monetized like fucking today. And I want to let you guys know, I may not be here tomorrow, but if you guys can muster up enough money, we're $2 over there. We're 2 out of 100 there. We got about an hour 20-ish left. We'll see if we make it. I don't think we will. But if you guys do want to make sure I'm here tomorrow, if you guys do put in enough money, I will. Whatever. I'll honor that. I won't pick up a shift. So yeah, but I did just get monetized today. You guys can super chat, and thank you, Fire Pixie. You were my first after a long. It's like I became a virgin again. Like I became celibate for years and years and years, and then you were my first. That's what it's like. So you were my second first. So that's beautiful, Fire Pixie. I don't remember who the first one is. Mustache says congrats on it. Thank you. I guess I didn't piss off the right people long enough. I guess. Good morning, Real John Doe. Good morning. Good morning, Andre Chevrier. Good morning. All right, we're all caught up. Let's get into the first topic of the day. Let's get into this old Fuentes shindig. 1 second, of course, StreamYard's glitching. Let me bring that back up again. Here we go. All right, let's get into this clip right here. We have a few different clips of some wild things Fuentes has said about the old Epstein debacle. Let's watch this. If I can get it up. Here we go.
this whole pedo thing, it's like, is it really pedophilia? I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take, but that's not really the issue there, okay? The issue is not that they were barely legal teens, which is what it is. It's horrendous. It's awful. It's pedophilia. Okay, relax. No, the issue is that Epstein is a Jewish spy probably working with Israel. That's the dilemma there. He's working with Israeli intelligence. This whole pedo.
Okay, so they're the issue. Apparently, according to him, not a pedophile. I don't know. Maybe he'll dig himself out of this hole. Let's go to the next clip. Let's check out the next thing he had to say, because he went it was like probably. I mean, I don't watch his show regularly, so to be fair, that's the amount of. I'm not gonna watch a fucking 3-hour stream just so I can give you an informed take on this. I've watched some of the longer clips on this. There is like a 15-minute clip that I've seen out there that a lot of people are floating about to be like, oh, this really kind of, he walks back, or this kind of redeemed, or whatever, kind of like the idea of like, oh, you guys got all upset about the 1 or 2 minute clip, and there's like a 20-minute one out there where he explains in detail, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. We'll come back to that. Let's watch a few more of the shorter clips, and then, I don't know. Let's watch this one. Here we go.
You niggas are not ready for that conversation, but Jeff Epstein, not you niggas are not ready for that conversation, but Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile, but you're not ready for that conversation. All of his victims, 14 to 17, that's not pedophilia. But y'all niggas ain't ready for that conversation. People say that's normalizing pedophilia. No, that's defining pedophilia. Pedophilia is sex with children. Children are people that are before the age of sexual maturity. Now, you can have your opinion and your taste and your ethics and your morals, but after the age of 14, that is past the point of sexual maturity, just period, biologically. And all of these feminists and all of their accomplices, the simps, they all want to say there's only 2 genders. They want to talk reproduction and genitals. Okay, let's talk about reproduction and genitals. When do men and women reach the age of sexual maturity? It ain't 18. It isn't 20. I've seen women say, a 20-year-old girl is a literal child. No, sorry, she's not even a figurative child, let alone a literal child. Do you know what canon law in the Catholic Church says? It says the minimum age to get married is 14 for women, 16 for men. That's the canon law of the Catholic Church. So you want to pull rank on me with morality? I would take you there. And by the way, that's how it was for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Do you know when age of consent became a thing? Like 30 years ago. That is a second wave feminist artifact. But you people are not ready for that.
All right. Yup. He's saying, once again, kind of doubling down. 14 to 17 doesn't qualify as pedophilia to him, which we've talked about this before. We've seen Michael Tracy particularly make a point of this, and what is it, ephebophilia or some shit? It's just like weird parts. I mean, there is a to some level, there's a technicality here in which you're like, yeah, you're technically correct. Technically, post-pubescent, I would still say children, that is technically not pedophilia, but like, is that, but I'd say in the colloquial mind of which is what he's kind of describing here, which it seems to be, why are we making a differentiation here? I mean, I guess maybe you could say, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, words are granted meaning by their users, or not by their users, by their users and the people interpreting them. And if you have, when people say colloquially, or, that means just like that's the common understanding, the common parlance of a word. When we say pedophilia, I mean, yeah, technically you could say, oh, if I pull up a dictionary, perhaps it says, but it doesn't fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, like, the common, if we were to like poll the world, or at least the English speaking world, and say, how do you define pedophilia, I'd say the vast majority. And you could say, oh, this is some feminism mind worm or whatever. Perhaps, I don't fucking know. I'm fine with it. I'd say the vast majority of people would consider 14 to 17 still children. I mean, and he was like, oh, they're sexually mature. Perhaps. I mean, and even then to like, I don't know. They're not really mature. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 16-year-old. They're like, they are not. No. Those are children. Like I don't know. I get like, and I will say I did watch his longer clip where he goes more in depth and kind of goes like, part of the reason why this is an issue is because we have such a degenerate culture, and like in the past, people would be getting married at 16, and it's like, yeah, actually, to some degree, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I kind of am with that to some degree. The idea that like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had a more wholesome culture, if we prioritize, like, I'm someone who had children at like 19, like super duper young. So I actually, that's one of the greatest things I've ever done. Like, if I could have gotten married at 18, 17, and if it worked out great, like, that'd be wonderful. But here's the thing, like, it's just bizarre. Like what is the point of the differentiation? Because is there anyone out there in the world really arguing that like if a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old, were, especially in the context he's speaking of, like, they're betrothed or whatever, is that really the hill people are going to die on and be like, that guy's a pedophile? No, you're within that range, where it's like understandable. I think there is a little bit of a murky area here, I guess you could say, when it comes to like, if you're within a certain range. But that's not what we're talking about. Like, if we're talking about the Epstein thing, the whole Epstein shindig, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about 50, 60, 70, 80, probably even 90-year-old men with, even at best, the way that Fuentes characterizes it, 14 to 17-year-old girls. You may want to call them women or say they're sexually mature or whatever. That's children. Like, I don't know, like, if they were to get married, and if it was like if I would be fine with having the cultural, like, if we, turn the culture around to find that acceptable to be like 16-year-olds, being, getting married to like 19-year-old. I could be on board with that. Someone who's like in relatively within their age range, or starting off young. I mean, maybe some people might object to that slight bit of, because that seems to be kind of what he's honing in on, when that's nowhere near the reality of what's fucking happening here. So, and I know they're like, oh, he does kind of get in the longer clip about how like, oh, well, this is like, people are missing, they're getting focused on the pedophilia as opposed to the blackmail, to which maybe there's some sort of hazard that being the case, but it's kind of like they go hand in hand. I don't even really know how you can avoid, because if you're like, oh, the pedophilia, like, what is this weird hemming and hawing and trying to like pull back and be like, oh, well, we need to like kind of couch the pedophilia conversation and be more focused on the spy stuff. And you're like, yeah, but they're like one and the same. Like, it's weird trying to like parse them, like, because yeah, the whole point is they are getting them to sleep with children, and like, yeah, maybe there's some angle of like, oh, I didn't know she was 18, and like, at the very least, you'd be like, fuck you, you're disgusting. Like, this isn't some, I don't know, this is yeah, I don't know. It seems very weird. I'll say even the longer clip, people. Oh, my bad. Sorry, this is getting weird. There you go. So yeah, well, but there's more. I guess let's watch this now. So here's another clip. All right, here's another one. Let's watch this.
Big Head sent $50. Mom just validating. Third Mox. Thanks for starting earlier than my bedtime. My Epstein opinion evolved from hearing your perspective. Girls become sexually curious in HS, especially ones with daddy issues and have no guidance. No self-worth but yearn for love and don't know where to find it. All that being said, no e-girls.
So true. Thank you very much. W. Epstein, look, I'm on my villain arc, okay? Sometimes you gotta be the villain. Epstein's my boy, dude. Let's just be honest. Epstein was cool as fuck. There, I said it. What are you gonna do? Go ahead, cancel me. Yeah, I said it. Jeffrey Epstein was cool as fuck. Now what? Go ahead, cancel me. Do it. So sometimes we have to be the villain. Sometimes we have to be on a villain arc. That's okay. I'll be a little unpopular. I've been unpopular before. I like it better. Sometimes it's time for a little heel turn.
All right, now this one, a lot of people got upset about this, going, Epstein's my boy, dude. Epstein's cool as fuck. No, I will say, like, the Epstein's my boy. I don't know. I would. Now, technically, that one I might be like, come on. Now, Epstein's cool as fuck. I gotta give it to him. I mean, while I am very opposed to everything that man did. He's a deplorable human being. We did cover a lot of the stuff that came out of the Epstein files a while ago. A lot of the different photos. It really was just kind of like a highlight reel of Epstein being cool as fuck. And I got to admit, like, to this point, this is along the same lines of like where people have gone upset about him saying that Stalin was cool, Hitler was cool. Hey, YouTube, that was a joke. These are all jokes. None of this I mean. But I could totally get what he means. Now, I don't advocate any of the things any of those people have done, but in the idea of what cool is and like, holy shit, this guy, he literally has a party island. Like, I think evil, awful things are happening there, but at least from the perspective of like, maybe if you are looking at it from like a 20-something-year-old man, you can at least understand how this guy's going. I will say, like, as I've gone older, I will say that there's less of that cool. This kind of vibe is less cool to me, but I can see what he's getting at. I can see what he's getting at. This is less contentious than some of the weird, age of consent, like, kind of hemming about that. That's not so bad. And I will say that I did want to point out this is a funny take just because it's hilarious. Brendan Carrot, so props to you, says local man unintentionally announces how hard Peter Thiel turned him inside out. News at 11. So this is where he's at. He's saying the idea is to focus in on the spy apparatus, which these are kind of one and the same. Like, it's also, to me, seems weird to take out the pedophilia. That's kind of the oomph. That's kind of the holy shit, they're doing what, as opposed to they're just doing espionage. Like, I don't know. That's far less. I don't know. Yeah, they're whatever. Now it just becomes like, if anything, it kind of it brings us down to like an APAC type talking. But like, doesn't APAC do a lot of fucked up stuff? Or like, I don't know. I'm a little torn on this. Well, not even really torn. I'm kind of like, what are you doing here, Nick? Not that I'm some follower of his or anything, but well, I think this is kind of somewhat relevant. It's been blowing up the timeline. Apparently, Fuentes, Tate, Sneeko, Clavicular, and Myron. All Myron Gaines and I think some other, influencers went out to go hit the club yesterday. It got widely reported. Let's watch this. Let's see what's going on there.
They don't understand the things I say on Twitter.
Okay, so that's them all partying. There's a bunch of different clips and stuff going around. I'll be honest. This kind of ties into my point about the coolness earlier. This is, if you are someone who finds this cool, I used to find this cool. As I've gotten older, this more looks just kind of lame and gay and like, I don't want to have to deal with the loud music, all these annoying people, all these annoying bitches. Like, yeah, this seems like absolutely awful to me and weirdly kind of honestly an odd look. Especially for Fuentes particularly, which whatever, I'm not saying this guy can't go out and have fun, but just doesn't seem to be his vibe. Seems very out of place, seems uncomfortable, and like, so I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what to make much of that, but they're out partying. A lot of people made a whole to-do about that. They tried to make it this like, oh my God, it's almost like there was these like tale of two worlds with the whole club thing. Like everyone was trying to make this a statement. You have like the manosphere, red pill, whatever, trying to make it like, they're breaking the matrix by, they're here in Miami at this club and all of these huge influencers singing NHH, trying to keep that monetization, baby boy. Playing this song, in Miami, all these people like, oh my God, we broke the matrix, yada yada. Whereas there's also this other side that's like, and I gotta admit, I'm a little bit kind of partial to this. Like, this is kind of gay, kind of gay, pretty gay. I mean, I don't know. That's the little bit of the vibe I'm getting from all these different things. Which, once again, not to get too tied up into whatever these people doing. They can have fun, but they're the ones also farming out. recording everything, so people are seeing them awkwardly at the club. It just looks like ignorant young people shit. And I don't know, these are supposed to be these sophisticated, well, not that they're supposed to be, I guess they're not supposed to be sophisticated, but at least with the Fuentes, you'd think, some sort of, I don't know. I mean, he's still someone who's like, what, mid to late 20s-ish, so he's still youngish. Maybe I'm being too hard, but it just does not fit with the vibe. And, but whatever. Now, a lot of people have pointed out, in relation to some of his takes as of late, especially there's been a lot of talks from Nick about really, really pushing Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act, really pushing hard into this whole really let's go fucking hard, also pushing some of this this South American adventurism that he's really pushing. So it seems odd. Now, I will say, with these things, though, they also kind of fit with him. So a lot of people do always try to be like, oh, he's a fad. And you're like, yeah, but it's like also like there are, from the limited things I know about him, it does actually seem to comport with his belief system, these sorts of things. So it's not really that outside of left field. But, to the Fed point, a lot of people have pointed out this in the past 24 hours, or compromised, or whatever you want to call it, making some umbrage about this. It's kind of interesting. Let's watch it. No, I didn't even bring it over. My bad. 1 second.
Yeah.
It didn't even bring it. Okay, 1 second. Let me see. We got it? Yeah, we got it. Now it's good. All right. My bad.
Nick's saying, you're saying truly, when are you going to take the gold deal? I heard that was a big deal.
I think I'm going to take it, yeah.
I think you should.
What is the deal? Well, it's just like a gold sponsorship.
Okay.
People are buying gold, and the reason why I have to take it is because it's Mark Levin's old sponsor.
Oh, okay.
So it's an old Mark Levin gold sponsor, and they said, I don't like Mark Levin anymore. I want to support you. So they're taking his deal and giving it to me. So otherwise, I don't think I would have taken it, but I have to just mod Mark Levin. Just on account of.
Is it a big deal?
Yeah, it's like a 7-figure deal.
Not bad.
Congrats. Yeah, so it'll be, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're negotiating it, but it'll be an interesting deal. It'll be the first sponsorship because I only do super chats and merch and subs.
I was gonna say, man, it's really difficult for you. It's crazy because you're getting like literally no sponsors ban on everything, and I pretty much said everything that you have, but I still get.
Okay, so the main point there is that he's getting about to get a 7-figure sponsorship deals he's talking about, which he's always made much a big deal. I've seen him, not always. I act like I've seen a bunch of his shows. I've watched a handful of his shows, and I've seen him make multiple statements, even just those handful of shows, kind of ridiculing others for taking sponsorships, which to some degree I get it, depending on the circumstance, but. It's kind of like being like, hey, if it's something I'd be willing to buy and, I feel comfortable selling. I've seen him talk a little bit about this. I saw him on some stream talking about this, like, supposed gold sponsorship, kind of being like, hey, everybody likes gold. Like, who doesn't like gold? Kind of like, hey, not whatever. Hey, I hawked razors a while ago. I like to trim up, get the edge with my my old Nadeau razor. They don't sponsor me anymore, but I liked that product. I thought you guys would as well, so I had no problem promoting it. I would do the same again if there's anybody out there with a product that you'd think I'd like. Feel free to hit me up. I'd be open to doing some sort of sponsorship occasionally or something, depending on what it is. But this one is a little bit funky because the fact it's 7 figures, which, don't get me wrong, Fuentes does monster numbers. But I do find it a little bit interesting that a lot of people have pointed out that this is apparently, and Nick himself, just in that clip that we caught, this is Mark Levin's old sponsor. So now they're wanting to go to Nick, which, I don't know, maybe I'm speculating too much. Maybe we're all jumping too much to the conclusions, but it looks a little whack, looks a little wild. It's also, especially when you're like, was there somebody really, okay, I guess maybe we don't know enough about this deal. Maybe they're paying Fuentes way more. But if we're talking did I say 9 or 7? It's a 7-figure deal, which would be at least $1 million. So that makes me think that they were probably in that same ballpark for Levin. And Levin, I cannot believe that he's making anything worth a damn numbers-wise. So if you have some sort of gold company paying Mark Levin, or used to, likely-ish, million-ish, I guess I'd say a year probably is what they're getting at. It makes you wonder, what are they getting for that? These are the same sort of people willing to work with Levin. So I don't know. A little leaves a little bit to be little to be questioned. Stu Peters here, which I know a lot of people have thoughts about him. I don't really have strong opinions one way or the other. But he pointed out the very same thing. He says, remember when a gold company was no longer the Stu Peters show because we wouldn't consider changing, softening, or completely avoiding certain topics or stop asking questions? There are certain rules for these types of agreements, and as such, anyone you see entered into or staying in one of these agreements is operating within the guidelines that have been set forth. So I don't know. We'll see. Is he still going to be all weird like this? Not sure. Here's Chris Brunette, who's another character in this sphere who's been, he's as of late kind of shit on Fuentes a lot. He's been jumping on this whole like, what the fuck? What are you saying about Epstein train along with me? He went to Grok. He asked, who is Nick Fuentes' main sponsor now? Who owns them? What is his religion? How much does he pay? Because Nick Fuentes' main sponsor as of early 2026 is Goldco, a precious metals dealer specializing in gold and silver investments in retirement accounts and asset protection. Goldco is owned by Trevor Gerst, who founded the company in 2006 after immigrating to the U.S. from South Africa as a child. A lot of South Africans, interesting place to come from. Available sources do not explicitly state Gerst's religion, but his surname and family names are commonly associated with Jewish heritage. Goldco is reportedly paying Fuentes a seven-figure sum, at least $1 million, for the sponsorship deal, which he described as a gold promotion offer that he accepted after the company ended its prior agreement or arrangement with Mark Levin. So, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's just legitimately selling oil, or not oil, selling gold. So, who knows? Maybe this is a method of control. I guess maybe time will tell. You guys tell me in the chat. We're about to go ahead and hop in there, and then we'll get into our next segment. No more Epstein files. But yeah, let's roll through the chat, see what all you guys got to say. PJR, I think it's the first I'm seeing in here. So good morning. This is Nick's going to lose. I know it's not morning anymore, but somewhere in America it's morning over on the West Coast. It says Nick's going to lose all of his incel followers with his new gold deal, which I think is part of Mark Levin's group. This twink is beyond cringe. Perhaps. JC, a dumb hill to die on. These based right-wing influencers always periodically implode to divide and demoralize their own base. Yeah, which that is another point that I didn't get into. A lot of people have asked, like, why would you even do this? Because I did bring up the point that he did go into a longer 15 to 20 minute-ish, kind of rant going into all of this on one of these numerous shows he went into. And then I did have someone ask online, like, kind of like, why would anyone even do this? Like, the idea of, because someone said to me, like, oh, you're giving them, too much ammo. Because I said that, like, he did go in longer, and some people said that it walked it back and kind of yada yada in this longer clip. So then, the person goes to me, like, well, why would they even do that? Why would anyone ever do that? Like, why would you give them ammo? And this is the same logic people say, like, when I say, like, make Holocaust jokes or whatever. You're like, why would you do that? You're giving them ammo to work with. And you're like, for one, fuck them. If they're one looking for ammo, I guess, like the logic is kind of like, fuck them. It's really a sifting mechanism, especially if you're trying to build. And this is kind of, you understand how what Fuentes is, what he's done through all this is kind of what he's done, as JC's pointed out here. The imploding them, maybe that's not the right way to put it, where you kind of say something that will innately offend some people, but you may then, kind of like, let's say you give a minute of something that if you kind of leave it ambiguous enough to where, like, people that people are looking to be upset will be upset about it, and those that are willing to be good faith actors will maybe stay around, maybe look a little bit deeper, go, there's no way he meant it like that. They'll look a little bit, they'll watch the longer clip. This is how you build a good, like, I actually think that's kind of a healthy thing to do for your audience if you're smart. Maybe not necessarily intentionally. I feel like it's kind of what I do unintentionally. I kind of just say what's on my mind. I'm a little bit crass. If you are someone who gets offended by that, you're probably not going to stick around with this audience too long. So it's that same idea, but this is a little bit like, I mean, I don't feel like this is it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to watch a 20-minute clip here. But I don't feel like that's that. This doesn't feel like here's a 2-minute clip where we say something kind of saucy that if you want to be upset with me, you can be. But if you want to be an honest actor, you can go, oh, okay. This doesn't feel like that. You watch the longer clip and you still go, what? At least me. You still go, what are you doing, dude? What is even the point of all of this? Like, if it's really just some weird semantic argument, because even then I don't even think it really holds in the semantic argument. If you understand how language works, if you're referring to a dictionary, I can go, I don't give a fuck about the dictionary. What matters is how people use it. And the vast majority of people are going to consider anything under 18 to be pretty much just pedophilia. So like, like maybe you could find some like outside case where you're like, oh, he's 19. And you're like, okay. And you're like, whatever, we'll let that one slide. But for the most part, generally speaking, under 18, that's pretty much just pedophilia. So, here's WC Cola says, I feel like the salacious pedo element that dominates the narrative serves as a sleight of hand. Yeah, that is another component he was getting at, where he was kind of getting at the like, oh no, the satanic pedo angles, yada yada. This gets it, to where you look, which maybe there's an argument to it. This kind of feels like almost like a weird dialectic between him and Candace, where she does like retarded shit, and then like he gets to go, she's retarded, and then you go, well, anything even slightly adjacent to the retarded shit is now just retarded. I mean, I've covered enough of my show. I do think there is like satanic ritual abuse and yada yada. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if that does play a part in the Epstein stuff. But I do think, I don't know, I'm honest enough to go, I don't really recall any offhand that I can say in that trafficking network that really resolutely points to that. So, I mean, there's some weird symbolic stuff here and there that's creepy. We got that one dental room with all the masks where you go, what the fuck is going on in here? I don't know. I think, I don't know if that's really the right way to look at it. It is salacious, I guess, but I don't know. I think you kind of have to have it. I do think there's clearly pedophilia going on, and this is, I don't really understand what the differentiation is to be like, oh, they weren't prepubescent. Like, don't get me wrong, it still is worse if they're prepubescent, but it just seems like a very odd distinction to be making, because it's like, yeah, I'll be more upset, but I'm still upset either way. So I don't know. It's just a weird distinction to be made. Yeah, here you go. JC says, this is why Alex Jones, Candace give grains of truth to gain trust and suddenly go off the deep end. Aggressively agreeing, says your morals do not supersede my wood chipper. Here's Ricky Bev, says if you're over 18 and can't find a girl, just play Warhammer like the rest of us. Yeah. Here we go. Black Eye says 16 to 17 is hebophilia, which sounds very small. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Here's Nick says, what's the difference? You can't describe the differences without sounding like a pedophile. Yeah. Black Eye says, to be fair, I think people who go after 5 and under are especially kind of horrific. Yeah, I mean, obviously the younger it is, the more horrific it is. Yeah, obviously. Here we go. Visa saying Fuentes is looking like controlled opposition. So perhaps I'm definitely open. This is a weird move. Nick says this is discredit any valid takes he has. Oh, you agree with the PDF apologist? Perhaps, maybe that could have something to do with it. Here's Soul King. It says, haha, Trump won't do anything because they're black. He will look like racists. We got more people saying Fuentes. We got a lot of people rolling in here that I can see new faces in here today, just to make fun of Fuentes. So, hey, I guess I hit the algo correctly. Says Fire Pixie says, as a female, I do know that around 16 older guys are more appealing. Guys that are 16 are still too stupid. Just saying. Yeah, and I get that. This is why I was kind of making the point that, like, if you do listen to his longer clip, he kind of makes the point that, like, in this ideal culture to where we didn't have this sexual degeneracy that we do now, and people were more marriage and family oriented, that it wouldn't be as crazy if you see a 16-year-old get married and for them to engage in sex in a certain type of environment. This would be like in a marriage. But even then we're talking about, unless, like, even then it's like he never clarified, to be fair, but even then I would only really accept that. Like, say I was the father, because I have 2 daughters. If I was the father and there was, like, it was this, ideal culture to where, like, this is something that, like, as a father, you're, like, probably more involved in or whatever. And you're like, I still wouldn't ever be comfortable with, like, anyone, like, well into their 20s, like, if you were looking for, if we were in this culture to where people got married younger and they're more family oriented, I still wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to marry off my 16-year-old to a, 43-year-old sheik. It's like it still would be someone in their age range, it'd still be someone like maybe 18, 19, 20 or something, like tops, like, and even then someone's super respectable, super like just like very different, not someone who's just looking for shallow sex, obviously, because that's kind of the differentiation he's making, the idea that like these 16-year-olds, you know, they, as in current situation, he's like, the whole point of the age of consent is to kind of create this like line to where you can engage in this like degeneracy. Now you're legally allowed to. Here's the legal line. So where, you know, I'd be maybe, I don't know how you would form your laws around that, but I'm open to the idea of people getting married around, maybe not 14 probably, that seems excessive, but if he was talking like 16 or whatever, perhaps, I mean, I could get behind that idea. So, and Fire Pixie says, and by older, I mean 5 to 7 years older. Yeah, okay, maybe that's a bit much, but yeah, I definitely get it. Let me see. Steph says it was super ultra gay. Thanks for that. All right, let's see. What else we got? Anything earlier in here? Let me see. By the way, if anyone wants to drop super chats, you can, because I'm scrolling through a bunch of these. It says Stahl says Nick ain't hurting for money at all. He charges $100 per month just to be in a group chat with him, and supposedly there are 1,000 subscribed to it. Yeah, he's definitely not, but yeah. Not to mention all the money he makes from super chats every night. This gold deal is weird. Yeah, it does strike me as a little weird. Here we go. Here's WC Cola says, I mean, the trafficking and exploitation for a purpose of blackmailing elites is more important than arguing semantics of a paraphilia. I don't know if maybe I'm retarded and don't know what paraphilia is, but I'm assuming you mean like of a pedophilia maybe. Maybe it was a typo, or maybe paraphilia is one of those other specific cutouts that I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, that is, I'd say, yeah, it is important, but they're kind of like, but what are they blackmailing them with? I mean, it just seems like a weird parsing, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like, how are you, I don't know, it seems like an odd thing to try to separate, really. You're like, yeah, but they're blackmailing them for having sex with underage women, or not women, girls, underage girls. I mean, like, otherwise, I don't know, it just seems weird to be like, they're blackmailing them. You know, just like leave out the other part. Blackmailing them with what? I don't know. All right, let's, I think we're all caught up now. All right, let's get into the, let's start off with the No More Epstein files. To kind of set the stage for this, let's watch this Jon Stewart monologue. I thought it was pretty apt for this. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Sorry. You don't see the hassles I'm dealing with in the backstage here. I brought up a video and then immediately it goes, just kidding, audio's not working. So this is sort of crap I deal with. But to kind of set the stage for this Epstein segment, I think this kind of is perfect for it. Here's Jon Stewart on Donald Trump and his popularity. Let's play this.
You know, people keep saying, oh, this guy's Hitler. No, he's not. And I'll tell you why he's not. Hitler was popular. This guy's not. Because the people, and I'm talking about people like, I live in a town where like a lot of people went that way. Like they give me a lot of shit in the deli. Like I walk in the deli and there's a lot of like, hey, how's that auto pen? How's Biden's auto pen? I walk in the deli now and they're like, what would you like on your sandwich? Like, it ain't flying in a lot of places where you think it might be flying. So the one institution that I think has been the bulwark in a way that nothing else has been the people. And that's been really heartening to me. You know, people keep saying, "Oh, this guy's..." Okay,
we have Jon Stewart. So yeah, a little monologue for him saying Trump's not Hitler. Hitler was popular, and I think it's there's very much the energy I'm getting these days that the popularity is waning. You look at the polls; that's the case as well. Only the most ardent MAGA supporters are still at it. Speaking of which, here's a fell for it again award for them. Here's the good old tried and true Epstein Phase 1 release with some of these fucking losers. And what they're quote tweeting here is, DOJ defies Congress on Epstein files. 29 days past deadline, barely 1,000 made public. So that's where we're currently at now. And furthermore, not only that, but they're openly just saying, fuck you, we'll do what we want. So DJ is now arguing that no court can force it to release the Epstein files. Here's the position. The Epstein Transparency Act doesn't create an enforceable path in federal court, so judges can't compel compliance. So meaning we'll release what we want when we want, and you can't stop us. Now, you guys go check this out on your own. Hopefully, maybe somebody like our homie, friend of the show, Tyler Yonke, a lawyer extraordinaire. Maybe he'll end up covering this because this is all in like legalese and stuff. But maybe we'll read a couple of these highlighted portions to get the idea. I'm no lawyer, but we can kind of figure this out together. But that seems to be the takeaway I'm getting from a lot of people, that the DOJ is basically saying, nah, we ain't doing it, and you can't fucking make us. And I don't know. Ultimately, they kind of can't. What are we going to do? Respectfully, the government, here's highlighted from this, it says, respectfully, the government submits that the court lacks the authority to enter the requested relief. When the Constitution or laws of the United States do not support a cause of action, a federal court cannot reach out to award remedies. And says the act does not provide a cause of action because the statute does not evince Congress's intent to create the private cause of action asserted. This court may not create that action through judicial mandate. So they're saying that this can't be mandated through, this can't be done through judicial mandate. So you can't make us do it. Nah, boo, 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 boo. That seems to be the takeaway. We ain't getting no Epstein files. And meanwhile, we got, while we ain't getting those Epstein files, we still got, modern day iterations of Epstein rolling around. We got the Alexander brothers. I wanted to tell you guys about this. Apparently, one of the main women who got this going, the Alexander brothers, who have been caught up in this big sex trafficking ring, I guess you could call it. But one of the women who kind of started off this whole thing, well, she showed up dead last year, and they're just now reporting it. So that's great. Not suspicious at all. By the way, for Black Eye, that's in your neck of the woods over in Australia where she died at. But let's look a little bit into these guys. Let's check out this. Let's watch this video right here. Kind of explain a little bit of the things that they did. Of course, audio's out. Give me a second. All right, let's try this again. Here we go. All right, boom.
Federal prosecutors alleged the Alexander brothers worked together and with others to drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of victims, luring them in, they argue, with the promise of romantic relationships, luxury travel, parties, and events. Tal and Oren were luxury real estate agents in New York City and in Miami. In 2019, Tal gave CBS a tour of this Manhattan penthouse. Alon was an executive for a private security firm owned by the family. Prosecutors previously revealed videos found allegedly show the brothers and others engaged in sexual acts with women who appear under the influence of drugs or alcohol and unaware they were being recorded. On Friday, prosecutors told the judge they intend to file a superseding indictment with additional victims. They say they've interviewed more than 60 women who allege at least one of the brothers raped them. Prosecutors also told the court the discovery is substantial and includes iCloud accounts, Instagram and Facebook accounts, dating apps, laptops, hard drives, and cell phones. An attorney for one of the brothers released a statement that reads, quote, "These charges are an overreach by the government that in no way amount to sex trafficking. We have no doubt the evidence will prove that these are all false allegations and the Alexanders are innocent." The twins have also been criminally charged in Florida along with their cousin. The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office released video statements given by 3 women.
I was crying, and I know the whole time I was asking them not to do it. I was just like, please no, please no. They were both talking about who was going to go first. Both kept saying no.
Federal prosecutors here in New York say the investigation is on.
All right, now let's dig a little bit into this. Who are these? It's Oren, Allen, and their brother Tal Alexander. They face multiple rape and sex trafficking charges from over a decade. Their cousin, Ohad Fisherman, has been accused of participating in the gang rape. Federal prosecutors say they've spoken to at least 60 women who claim to be victims of at least one of the Alexander brothers. And now Aussie socialite Kate Whiteman, who accused the twins, Oren and Allen, of rape at Sir Ivan's castle. Which, by the way, a little pro tip for any young ladies out there. This seems to be pertinent coming off our last discussion about age of consent and all that. If there's anything I can pass on to the young women out there, regardless of whether you're of age or not, stay the fuck away from castles. Nothing fucking good happens in castles. Stay away from them. I know you're given these whimsical ideas of castles in your dreams growing up. That's also they can grape you. They can grape you super duper hard in the castle. They were propagandizing you from a young age with Rapunzel and all these Disney princesses and yada yada yada. All so that you'll be like, oh, a castle. Oh, that sounds delightful. A castle. These nice handsome men are bringing me to a castle. It'll be so beautiful and lovely. Oh my God, castle. Oh, he's like a prince. Oh my God, a castle. Yeah, and then you get graped. So don't fucking do that. Stay away from those. Stay away from castles. Stay far away. Apparently, they were big Trump supporters. There's claims that they were partying with Trump on election night. They've attended White House parties and Hanukkah celebrations at the White House. Victims were drugged. That's a common thing. Is that it seems like they were using drugs to essentially kind of Bill Cosbying their way through this. It seems like, and then from some of the reading I've done on this is apparently then they were kind of strong arming them that if any of them went to speak out, kind of be like, oh, we'll sue you for defamation, yada yada yada. So kind of using lawfare against them. So yeah, we'll see. This person's asking if Trump's going to be pardoning them. We'll see. I also thought this was particularly interesting as well. Apparently they did $100 million real estate deal for an Israeli-U.S. Qatar did a $100 million real estate deal for this Israeli-U.S. duo, which I find it funny. The Times of Israel refer to them as an Israel duo because that's one of a lot of things people point out to is that, oh, they're Jewish and they're like kind of allusions to Israeli. Well, they're just straight up, even Times of Israel is referring to them as Israeli essentially. I'm not sure if they had Israeli residents or not, but either way, funny enough, Israel's linking them too. But here, Israel and Qatar may or may not have diplomatic relations, but some Israeli and Qataris are working together for their mutual benefit. Case in point are Oren and Tal Alexander, young realtors to the uber rich and sometimes famous, are representing the Qatari government in a record-breaking New York real estate transaction. The New York Post reported on January 30th that Qatar is in contract to buy an Upper East Side property for $100 million. This must have been like from years past, obviously. I think this was 2014. Yeah, this is written in 2014. So back in 2014, they were handling this. They're in contract to buy the Upper East property for $100 million, the highest price ever paid for a commercial use townhouse in Manhattan. Alexander's client plans on converting the townhouse, currently used as an art gallery, into a consulate. So that's crazy. The sellers for this business of the Qatari consulate. The sellers of the building of which, man, that's wild. Between embassies, consulates, whatever. I mean, hell, to kind of tie this back to Epstein, we've talked about Epstein many times, how he, for a period of time, was subletting out the Iranian embassy, and I think in like New York. And he was subletting out to some very colorful figures that, I don't know, people could go nuts with all the speculation that abounds from all the different people he was subletting out the Iranian embassy to, when he wasn't supposed to be, by the way. But back to this. The sellers of the building at 19th Street 64 East are the Wildenstein family, who own one of the most successful art dealerships of the last century. The business was founded in Paris by Nathan Wildenstein in 1870. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, I don't really care so much about who they sold it to. Oren and Tal head up an 11-agent team at Douglas Elliman Real Estate. The brothers, whose parents are Israeli, got into real estate working in Miami with their father, Shlomi. Oh, wow, you can't make this shit up. When I'm in Miami on a Friday night, we have Shabbat dinners that basically turn into board meetings. I act as a consultant on design and architectural plans and finishes, and he's the developer and the builder, Oren told the New York Post last year. Known for working with high-end clients and dealing in trophy properties, the Alexanders, who are still in their 20s, count a full-floor apartment in the Sherry, Netherlands, going for $95 million among their current listings. Oren told the Post they searched off-market for their client when they couldn't find anything appropriate in the market. Finally, we called Carrie Chiang of Corcoran. Carrie said, okay, I think I have a place for you. But anyway, all right, you guys get the idea. I don't think there's much more to belabor about these guys, but they're moving big money. This was literally 4 Qatari royals in 2014, and it was a $100 million deal. They're like an Israeli-U.S. combo, duo, as they're referred to by the Times of Israel. So, they're doing these mega real estate deals, and at the same time, those open houses must go hard as fuck, I guess. Moving on to the next piece, or next part. You're not another. God, I'm fucking flubbing my words right now. Here is here's someone coming out here saying this should be illegal. We can't talk about this sort of stuff. You can't go this far. Damn it. 1 second. Of course, StreamYard's glitching. Give me one moment. Let me fix this. And we'll talk about why they think it should be anti-Semitic to bring up these sorts of things. So let's check this out. Here we go. Shabos Kastenbaum. Just these, wow, quite the name.
Yet for whatever reason, when it comes to anti-Semitism, when someone commits an anti-Semitic act, we don't send them to jail. Instead, we get the ADL to say, let's bring them to a Holocaust museum, which A, gives them pretty bad ideas, and B, doesn't solve anything about the fundamental issue that they violated the law. So the way we solve anti-Semitism is pretty goddamn simple, and I'm really beside myself that we don't push for this with all the major Jewish organizations. When someone commits a crime, stop sending them on El Al flights. That will make them more anti-Semitic, I guarantee it. Send their ass to jail. It's not complicated. Yet for whatever reason, when it comes
all right, well, we're going to send anti-Semitics to jail. God forbid you point out the same things that Times of Israel points out. And also, if you don't like child or CP, then I guess you also hate free speech. Thought this was particularly interesting. A little side tangent here. Apparently, back about a couple weeks ago, the U.S. senators asked Apple and Google to remove X and Grok apps over sexualized image generation. Well, what they're referring to here is Grok went full horned recently. Which was kind of funny, although it did get a little bit out of hand because people were doing things like, I don't know, hey, Grok, why don't you put her in a bikini and make her milkers 3 times as large? And, why don't you, I don't know, show me her feet? Or I can't even think of pervy things. The common one you see a lot is people be like, turn her around. And these things, people got carried away, got all horny. I mean, there are some pretty funny ones out there. But one of the big things is people were doing it with children online. People were finding kids and going, hey, turn around, put her in a bikini, do this, do that. I mean, I think Grok probably has some sort of limit, so maybe it was not technically CP, but it was very much pushing it. And then we have Elon responded to that, which I thought was nuts, it's one thing to be like, oh no, we fucked up this, that's not the ultimate, like we can fix it, yada, yada, yada. But to then go, hey, people are trying to remove Grok and X over this, and then to go, here's his response. The real reason is that they hate free speech. Sure, Elon. Sure, that's it. That has nothing to do with the CP that was likely coming through Grok. We are in for a odd next decade. We'll see how this whole AI race works out. Hopefully it fizzles out. But kind of coming back to the vibes of the Trump administration and him fucking us over big time, we ain't getting no Epstein files. And it looks like not only that, they're making big buku bucks off of this administration, despite the fact you hear every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry MAGA retard goes, oh, he doesn't even accept, he doesn't even take any money for his for being a president. I forget, was they supposed to get like a few $100,000 or some shit if is your salary for being a president? Oh, he forgoed that. You're like, okay. As if there aren't other ways to make money off the presidency. And here is one such case of that. Let's check out this clip together.
Since January, the president's bought more than $100 million worth of corporate and municipal bonds. That is according to filings from the Office of Government Ethics. This kind of active trading by a president is unprecedented. It means Donald Trump stands to benefit or suffer losses, depending on how these bonds perform. But these bonds include banks, and they include companies, and they include local governments that are literally directly impacted by the decisions that Donald Trump is making in the White House. Tim, is this classic Donald Trump? You are extremely familiar with how this gentleman works as a businessman.
It is. Well, it's it's not even Donald Trump working as a businessman. It's Donald Trump working as an insider trader. It's Donald Trump in a position to influence the interest rates that determine the value of the bonds he's buying. It's that simple. The other thing is, it is a drop in the bucket. The $100 million in bonds he bought is a drop in the bucket in terms of the grift that's going on in the White House around cryptocurrencies. His net worth, I think, jumped by more than $2.5 billion based on paper but it's on cryptocurrency assets he holds at a time when his family had absolutely no experience in the business before he became president. It's a product that he disparaged as a scam before he became president.
So, okay, they're kind of getting into the manipulation here. He's purchased $100 million in bonds tied to companies directly impacted by his policies, getting an insider trading. This isn't even going into all this, some of the crazy Kalshi stuff going on. They did allude to all the different crypto scams. You look at all the, what is it, the West Wing, East Wing? I forget which one it is, but that new wing they're building up and kind of making this ballroom. They're essentially openly being like, essentially, I don't know if you want to call it sponsorship, advertisement, or how they're framing it, but essentially they're taking money from uber rich people to invest in that, and it just so I think even some of them actually, funny enough, like either like they got like close I forget, I shouldn't talk out of my ass this much, but there's I swear one of the pardons he did is the person was like directly connected to either like their mother or cousin or some shit like that, some relative or something. One of the people who donated a fuckload of money to that new ballroom or whatever. Because it's kind of like they're like, oh, we'll put this person's names on the napkins. We'll put this person's names on the plates. You know, that person ain't going to have that's the Miriam Adelson bench over there in the corner where you can go sit and talk to the other people or whatever. Like, these are the sort of things they're doing there. So we're getting they're raking in money hand over fist over this, which, you know, is to be expected. And whenever it goes tits up, it looks like they're going to just blame it on the aliens. Here's Douglas McGregor. Whenever we get that good old Austrian boom bust cycle going into full-on bust, as they do almost damn near every single time, there's going to be some excuse. As what was it, COVID last time? I mean, what was it? I mean, hell, there's a lot of times there's just some sort of war. But yeah, I mean, we've had, you know, kind of boom bust, boom bust, boom bust. I always find some excuse, you know. There's always something. I mean, when I say excuse, there is always like something that does kind of prick it, and then kind of makes it go poof, and then everyone goes, "Oh my God, this thing destroyed the entire market," yada yada. And you're like, well, I mean, it really kind of destroyed something that was ready to be destroyed because it was built on quicksand, and yada yada. Here we are. Well, it looks like aliens might be either this one or maybe it'll be the next one. I don't know. Was it like every 6 to 8 years? Usually we have the boom bust cycle, but as our monetary system gets more apocalyptic, that timetable scoots up on us. So, but we are about due. What was it? 2020, I'd say, was probably the last major bust. You know, COVID is what they papered over with that one. Then printed a shitload of money in the process in order to kind of get themselves out of this bust, thus creating, enabling the future bust, ironically. And it looks like aliens will be the next one. There's Douglas McGregor saying Bank of England told to prepare for a market crash if the United States announces alien life. Helen McCraw, who served as a senior analyst in financial security at the UK's central bank, sounded the alarm. She has now written to Andrew Bailey, the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingencies for the possibility that the White House may confirm we are not alone in the universe. So I don't know, we're getting Douglas McGregor implying that perhaps we might get some announcements from the White House. And of course, that'll be when everything goes nuts. They'll have to be, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to, I don't know, whatever we got to do to prepare for the aliens, you know, somehow, or everyone's panicking over the aliens, and that's why the markets are in flux. Nothing to do with the people out there. All right, that's the end of this segment. I don't know, we might just cancel the third one, but let's roll through the chat, say hello, so all that good stuff. Hit that like button, guys. I got a good amount of y'all in here right now. So I'm debating, doing the next segment. May as well when I got a bunch of y'all with me. But yeah, hey, doing right, you guys. You can drop super chats, do all that stuff. Let's roll through, see if there's anything interesting in the chat. Good morning, Qbert. I don't know if that's the first I've seen you, but good morning, good morning. Fire Pixie's out of here, running off to work. You have a good day at work, Pixie. We'll see you on the next one. WC Cola says, oh, you mean the Wright brothers? Yeah, the Alexander brothers, the Wright brothers. Yes. Let me see. He aggressively agreeing to stay away from castles, islands, twin brothers, and Eastern Europeans. Generally speaking, yeah, there's a good list of things to stay away from. Let me see what else we got here. Scrolling through. Jet 484. So this guy debated on Tomcat and World War Debate 2, I think. I'm not picking up what you're setting down there. Let me see. Real John Doe says when he was leaving office after round one, Trump had collected over $800 million on his way out the door. This is all a business and vanity project for Trump, aside from carrying water for Israel. Yup. Good morning, Evan Griffin. He says, "What the hell happened? What do you mean? What happened? Did something weird happen? Or what? Was there something weird going on with Did something happen?" Good morning, Real Sassafras says, "New sub here. Been listening while I'm driving down the 405 in LA. Hell yeah. You should go hit up Austin. He lives out there in LA. Good morning, Zoe, saying keep going, don't quit. All right, well, Zoe, I guess we'll see. Well, more people here. May as well. Yeah, fuck it. Let's speed run this last segment. I gotta go take my kiddo to soccer practice after this. But yeah, let's get into the kind of the grab bag of ICE and other feds. Apparently, let's pop into the first thing. Democrats have a novel solution on how to fix their ICE problem. Training. We're gonna trade them up because trade them's a big old fucking problem. So we're gonna get some training for these ICE agents, and they'll solve it. Which is, I know, pretty much right on the nose for the Democrat Party. When everyone, the majority of the Democrat Party is calling for abolishing ICE, which I am 100% on board. I know a lot of people in my audience are like, pretty, immigration warriors or whatever. I mean, I'm all for abolishing the entire federal government. So, this whole like weird, like, oh, not ICE. You're like, I'd say the same thing about ATF, about the FBI, about CIA. Fuck them all. I hope they all just disappear. And the same thing with ICE. But I find it funny at this moment. Of course, we have Cory Booker calling for more trading. So let's watch this.
We must do more. The tragic death of Renee Good has brought into clear spotlight so many of the things the Trump administration is doing to make our communities less safe. But one of the most alarming crises are issues of training and accountability standards for ICE officers. The Trump administration has cut the training down from 5 months to about a month and a half. They have eliminated age requirements and are hiring recruits as young as 18 years old. They're putting people into training before their background checks are even complete. And so when you see people cut corners, people die. I'm continuing to lead new legislation that will bring further high professional standards and accountability to ICE officials. We must also set minimum training standards. We must ban the hiring of anyone affiliated with hate groups. We must hold agency leaders accountable. We must require every federal officer to wear a body-worn camera during public-facing enforcement actions and require that footage be preserved so that the truth can't be hidden or destroyed. What Donald Trump is doing is undercutting the strength of our law enforcement. He is diminishing and diluting standards. He is taking actions that are wholly unacceptable to the safety of our nation.
All right. Now, I thought it was pretty funny. This person, Christy Yamaguchi Main, she said, people yelled at me for this, referring to her post from a couple weeks ago. She said, there's a high likelihood Democrats' response to this murder will be, we need more funding for ICE to train them better. And, to some degree, there's probably some truth to that, but they hired, 60% of their workforce in the past year. They're in desperate need of proper training. I mean, if you do skip that intermediate step, you have that many people. Anyone who's been any sort of skill-related job, not that I'm saying these are highly skilled people, it's like you do have this hierarchy of training, and if you do over double your workforce, you're fucking that all up. So you're taking that 40% and you're requiring them to train the 60%. Sounds like a nightmare. And maybe they can train them to stop raping people. That'd be cool. Apparently there's a officer pleads guilty to sexually abusing ICE detainee at Louisiana facility, my bad. So we've got, this kind of builds off our talk from the other day, some of the allusions to trafficking. Obviously, this is one anecdotal example, but I figured, hey, we may as well point it out. Now, I will say I've read this through, and I don't know if there's necessarily, the old R word. I keep saying it, even though I shouldn't say it for monetary reasons, but whatever. I'm going to keep saying. Why do I even bother trying to censor myself? There's no point. I can't. I just can't. I'll say it one moment, the next I won't. I don't know if it's necessarily, then obviously the situation, as you'll see through this article, kind of makes you go, but it kind of a little bit is. I know I'm not one to be like, ooh, the power dynamic. Like, that's not really my, like, I'm not like, oh, well, I was a multimillionaire and she was a 25-year-old, so the power dynamic. Like, okay, but we're talking about someone who is someone who's a prison official and then someone who's in a prison. So it's a little bit, the power dynamic is a lot more real and becomes a lot more substantive in this situation. As you'll kind of see, it's kind of pretty fucked up. So a former detention officer at the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center in Basile pled guilty Monday, December 29th in federal court in Lafayette to one count of sexual abuse of a ward or individual in federal custody. David Corvell, 56, entered the guilty plea before U.S. District Judge Robert Summerhays. It's part of a plea agreement with prosecutors. The charge carries a maximum sentence of up to 15 years in prison. According to court records, Corvell worked as a contract detention officer at the facility, which is operated by GEO Group Incorporated between January 1st and July 30th. The facility houses women and detainees of various gender identities. Prosecutors said Corvell began a personal and romantic relationship with a Nicaraguan detainee identified by the official CH, who was being held on an immigration matter. Between May and July, Corvell had sexual contact with the detainee multiple times while she was under his custodial and supervisory authority, according to court documents. Prosecutors said the encounters took place inside the detention center, including in a janitorial closet. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jonathan Thompson, Thomas Johnson, said Corvell arranged for other detainees to act as lookouts during their encounters. On July 16th, detention center staff saw Corvell and the detainee entering a janitorial closet, prompting his transfer to another housing unit. Prosecutors also alleged that Corvell smuggled gifts such as food, jewelry, letters, and pictures of the woman's daughter into the facility. Now, that was the moment where, like, I was reading this whole time and I'm like, but did he really? I mean, obviously there's that power dynamic, so you're like, you shouldn't be, cavorting or whatever with the inmates like this. But it's that is the one where you go, oof, that's fucked up. Like, he's smuggling in letters and pictures of the kid. I mean, it sounds like this woman may, best case scenario, be whoring herself out for a connection to her daughter, which is really sad. Corvell resigned July 30th after learning investigators had obtained recordings of phone calls between him and the detainee. During a September interview with ICE Officer of Inspector General Agents, Corvell initially denied the relationship before later admitting to it. Said he could face up to 15 years in prison, fine of up to $250,000. He's released Monday on a $10,000 bond. So there'll be sentencing April 10th for those who care about that. But so we have one example of inappropriate relationships occurring here, and that's probably saying it in the best possible way. Pretty messed up stuff. We got a deleted tweet from Homeland Security. Here's their tweet. It says, "It's horrific to see radical agitators bring children to their violent riots. Please stop endangering your children." And they were quote tweeting here an ABC News saying this: two children, including a 6-month-old, were hospitalized last night after federal agents deployed tear gas during Wednesday's night protests, according to the Minneapolis Office of Community Safety. Well, why did they delete it? Well, the family was driving home and got blocked. ICE deployed flashbangs and tear gas inside the car. The 6-month stopped breathing and had to be rushed to the hospital. DHS did no investigation and rushed to lie to defend the officers. Keep in mind, I still don't think we're getting any sort of investigation into Jonathan Ross, despite the fact that they were actually trying to investigate the wife. Which, I mean, I get it. She was kind of being a little bit of an uppity bitch. She was kind of seemingly instigating the scenario. But maybe there's some sort of room for some sort of investigation, and I don't know what you could hit her with if there is a crime or whatever. I don't know if you want to go. I don't even know. I mean, I don't necessarily agree perhaps with that, but if you're going to go between the person who literally domed somebody or, I don't know, the person who just happened to be there, I don't know, perhaps maybe at best you could say agitated. I don't know. I mean, investigate both at least, but if you're going to pick one or the other, maybe the one who could plausibly be a murderer. That would make sense to me. But yeah, seems to be we're seeing a trend. And then get into other feds, other ICE and other feds, as I titled this thing, kind of making a little bit of a grab bag. I'm kind of ham-fisting these topics together a little bit. This is something I've wanted to cover for a little while. Some of this Erica Kirk stuff, some of the weird videos that have come out of her recently. So obviously I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here. I don't know if she's a fed, but this stuff looks weird. I'll say that. This stuff is some weird stuff. Apparently this is a photo shoot video where according to Sword of Truth here, says it takes a creepy turn after a photo as a sniper on the roof of Fort Huachuca in a military assassination movie she starred in resurfaces. Now, I do want to say I've seen people show these pictures of, you can see right here, the original one. There's a photo. You can see this photo right here of Erica Kirk. Is standing on a rooftop. A lot of people have said this looks like, kind of like the rooftop over at UVU where her husband inevitably died. This was from some military assassination movie she starred in. But I guess we have a little bit of a behind-the-scenes footage of this. Now, people are saying, I don't know, I have no idea to know how this was at Fort Huachuca, because I know that's what Candace has been on for a while. Although, I know some people were trying to claim that the original photo was actually at UVU, and they're kind of making connections. Now, I don't know. That might be going a little too far with it, because let's be real. It just kind of looks like any generic rooftop. And they're trying to be like, oh, this is the UVU rooftop. Is it? I mean, could it be? Does it look alike? Perhaps. A little bit of a jumping the gun here. But I guess there's also this behind-the-scene video. I don't know. I have no idea of knowing where they're getting this idea that was at this fort that Candace is all about now. But it seems like it's like kind of, to me, from the outside looking in, you're like kind of weird how that went from a moment ago. I remember everybody being like, oh, I think this is at UVU. And now everyone's like, oh, this is at Fort Huachuca. I'm like, okay, whatever. But let's watch this. So far, not seeing any creepy turn, but let's keep going. I mean, little weird pictures, but whatever. Okay, sorry I exposed you guys to that. That was entirely fucking retarded. So yeah, I really don't. It says the photo shoot takes a creepy turn after a photo as a sniper. I really don't know what am I missing that's creepy about it. Yeah, she's holding a gun. Okay, and she's in a USA sort of outfit. I really don't understand at all. This is what people are talking about when they say some of these conspiracy people are going nuts. I don't know I know obviously the initial photo, people have made a lot of points to be like, this is weird. It is a little bit weird. I mean, I guess it is weird. She's got some old photo of hers, but to be fair, there's a ton of old photos of her. But I don't know. I think this next one will be a little bit more weird, a little bit more on the nose, whereas that one's, I don't know, that seemed like some slop. Just saying, maybe I'm missing some component here that makes it not slop, but seems kind of sloppy to me. But here's an old video of her. This person, Adam, saying it's a buried CIA video. She's briefing national security professionals on EMPs and coordinated physical attacks on the U.S. power grid. And Adam saying, this Adam guy saying she was definitely Charlie's handler. Appreciate John Black for tagging me in this, by the way. Do want to remind you guys, especially for you new people out there, you guys are the producers of the show. I mean, I produce as well, but like you guys help. And I'll probably probably somewhere around like 40% of the content is stuff that you guys tag me in, because I try not to spend too much time on Twitter. So if you guys find stuff online and go, oh my God, would be great for the morning dump, tag me in it, and there's a very good chance it will end up in the morning dump. So appreciate you, John Black. But let's watch this clip.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made EMP. So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures in the United States: food, water, transportation, communications, etc. All 17 of the others depend on electricity.
If our grid goes down, you can't cook, you're not going to heat anything, you can't run any of your medical supplies, you can't talk on your phone, you can't take money out of a bank, and we turn into total chaos.
If this happens, the system stops.
If a transformer is taken down, we have to order it from Germany or China. It's going to take a year.
Up till recently, there were no comprehensive protective solutions available.
We know what the solutions are. They're not expensive. They're not difficult to employ. We just need the political will to do it and the follow through on the part of the electric utilities to get it done.
The White House is protected from an EMP. The Congress and the CIA and the NSA, all of the areas that need to function in the government are protected. So why can't we be protected?
Around some of these facilities, you don't have much more than a chain link fence to keep people out. Now that seems absurd to me.
I think it is absurd when we now know that attack on as few as 9 grid substations could bring down all 3 major interconnections for the United States grid.
If the power goes out, you get the generator, and if that goes out, you get another one. There's never been a plan for what happens after that.
The director of the National Security Agency, Admiral Rogers, came out and said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
No, not weird at all, right, guys? Nothing weird about that. Nothing weird. You know, that was just stupid, right? Move on to the next one. Okay, obviously, guys, that's fucking weird. So that's Erica Kirk in clearly some sort of ad, likely seemingly directed at feds of some sort, selling some sort of seemingly military-industrial product for if the U.S. power grid goes down. So not weird at all. I mean, it brings back memories of, I forget what the name of that movie was, but we had that Obama movie that came out a while ago where he was like, part of the executive producers or something, where it was literally this exact scenario. So who knows? Maybe it won't be aliens this time. Maybe it'll be some sort of Iranian or Russian or Chinese blackout or some sort. And maybe the next one will be aliens. We'll see. The good old Austrian boom bust cycle never fails, and it's always blamed on some other dumb shit. So we'll see. And who knows? Maybe Erica played a part in that. But looking at other people that are looking a little suspicious, here's Tucker Carlson for some reason at the meeting in the White House East Room with the oil firm executives, which is, with this whole Venezuela stuff going on, he's been meeting with these people. So I don't know what to make of that. I mean, it looks a little bit weird to me. I don't really know why this guy would be chilling here, but I don't know. Don't forget this guy, Tucker's dad, the voice of America, was literally a fucking Fed. This also Tucker went chilling in Venezuela in his fucking college years for some fucking reason. Was it Venezuela? Or no, one of those South American countries. I forget. Was it Venezuela? No, it's bugging me. How do I not think? Someone in the chat signed off. I'm forgetting what it was. But anyways, one of those South American countries that was dealing with upheaval and crawling with feds. And that tended to be the time where, we're going to have to do some, we're going to do a little fun little college trip. I mean, I don't know. You dig enough into Tucker, shit glows. I don't know what to tell you. I know there's a lot of people in our camp that try, Team Tucker, this, that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just not fucking retarded. Like, I hope this guy, I mean, I hope he's on it'd be super cool if he is on our team or whatever the hell that means. But I don't have much hope for that. I mean, there's been too many things, especially when you pay attention to the minute little details where you go, what the fuck is up with this guy? And if you just simply know his pedigree, it's just enough to at least be suspicious. And who knows though? I mean, people turn over new leaves. Who knows? But we'll show you this clip real quick. But I think just kind of telling you what it is enough. There's nothing really important in here, but you can see him. So I don't really know what Tucker was doing there. Seems a little bit weird. I know a lot of people, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean he's a Fed, and a lot of people for some reason point to what the fuck is kind of pointing to the Fediness of it. A little weird, especially considering the circumstance. You would think he would be someone who wouldn't be on board with this sort of thing. His presence does not necessarily mean he's on board with this, but it looks a little weird, and I kind of get where people come from. Finishing off today, I did want to dig a little bit deeper into this one, but I'll just give you guys kind of the quick version of it. Apparently Vivek Ramaswamy Coach Doug's Zyn, because in the booking photo you can see with some of his drugs, for some reason they included a Zyn in there too. I don't, who knows? Maybe he was probably storing drugs in the Zyn pack, if I had to guess. But yeah, it's just funny. So this is the guy. Maybe we'll go a little bit deeper into the details in another episode. But with that, we're gonna get out of here. I'll roll through the chat one last time, say goodbye, see if there's anything interesting from any of y'all, and then we'll get out of here. Play a funny little outro for y'all, and we'll see you all maybe tomorrow morning. You guys missed the mark by like $98 for my amount. I said if you guys hit 100 today, I will not try to pick up a shift tomorrow. You guys got $2, so you guys got to step that up. We'll see. Maybe next time, but I don't know. We'll see. I might pick up a shift tomorrow. But yeah, let's roll through, say goodbye one last time. Oh, Jet said the guy speaking about anti-Semitism debated on Timcast, and maybe I actually vaguely recall that. I know what you're talking about now. Zoe, smash like. You should do so as well. Evan says don't forego time with the kids over this stupid political shit. Yeah, but I'm also making some money off this, so it's not. It goes back both ways. So idle hands, all that. I hung out with the kid. We watched. Me and the kid this morning watched Star Wars Episode 1. For some reason, she's been wanting to go start Star Wars. So been a cool weekend. I had a wrestling tournament on Saturday with my kiddo. She won 2 out of 3 matches. My youngest had 2 games. She got a goal, at least 1 goal in both games. Kick ass. So pretty cool. Both my kids were killing it. So I had a great wholesome weekend with the family. So not missing out. And when I'm here, hey, I'm making a little bit of money, not lots, but you guys can contribute, support, all that. Real Sassafras saying traffic's not too bad because it's a holiday. Nice. Good morning, Heath Holloway says, what's up to you? Not much, about to get out of here. Let me see if there's anybody else. Good morning, Auburn Spy says, shout out to Christian Death Raw's area. Bye PGR, out of here. Black Eye, see ya, dude. PJR says wrestling is a good sport. Yeah, it's a great sport. I'm super happy my kid got into it. So yeah, and I love soccer too. Soccer I was really good at, but wrestling is like probably one of the best things I think you could do. So far as like a kid sport, it's the best. It's the best. See ya, Tony Chin. Says shout out to all the kids. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review in iTunes or Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major auto podcatchers, and Rumble as well. Also find it on Twitter at TowerGangJose. If you want to support the show in the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. We got that QR code over right there. There you go. Your QR code. You can use that if you like using those fancy technical thingamajigs, those QR codes. I still don't quite get them. But if you you go to patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to early episodes. I know I have been releasing as much of the paywall episodes to the public, but they're behind the paywall. So there's at least 4 of them. I usually try to keep 2 to 4 behind the paywall right now. I've just been bad about releasing them publicly recently, but if you're a paid customer, you got them. So, and you get paywalled episodes 1 to 2 per week. Try to keep 2 to 4 behind the paywall at any given time. You get access to ad-free RSS episode, or get access to ad-free RSS feed. You also get access to the Telegram. You get access to the pre-show, post-show, and video calls of me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which is on Tuesday, tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So pop in there. You can talk to us on via the phone if you'd like. And if you're a paying customer, you can do it with a video call. And I also give a shout out to the highest level of my Patreon, which is my sponsors. It's a big thank you for everything, for their support. My previous coach on Tower Gang, at Learn to Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZOVRCK, at _Invincible, Tim Tull, at Jolly Cleeble, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tackless, 100 Car for Kids, No Free Lunch Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Winograd of the Big Bull Anarchy Podcast. And with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Enjoy this outro. Enjoy what is clearly a superhero taking his first steps. We're seeing some crazy shit here. Watch this. We got Fan Man. Watch him. I think you guys will enjoy this. We'll see you all, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Well, actually, yeah, tomorrow, one way or the other. Just might be the morning or in the afternoon. We'll see. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Check this shit out, man. You gotta be. We ain't had time to go out and do all this bullshit. Cause we got our girl with his kid. We just gonna shoot this motherfucker right here. Hey, Panther, I don't know what the fuck you showing off for kid or what, but tell him what the fuck you got on, yo. Tell him how the fuck you got
This fan been in the house. I was getting ready to throw it out, and I caught myself and said, "Know what? I never did a fan before. I'm just my creative juices just on the money. You know what I'm saying? So we went on and put the fan on us, y'all. We put the fan on us.
Do you see this guy?
We in the
So
lab,
creative.
too. This is
Listen.
motherfucking exclusive. Go ahead, kid, talk. I'm gonna talk shit anyway.
Sunshine, this guy created this out of a real fan. It's wearable art, is what it is. This is Panther King the Don
Talk to him,
from
kid.
motherfucking Baltimore,
Talk to
okay?
him,
Cherry Hill, to be exact.
Hey, turn it off one time, yo, so they see.
They
your
said, what is the
career.
work of the fan? What you mean, what is the
Ah,
work? Look.
turn it back on, yo.
Look.
Ah,
Don't play with us. Don't play with us. We outside. We are with Panther. He said killing shit.
We in the
Hell
lab,
yeah.
yo. We in the motherfucking lab. This exclusive. How they make that music on exclusive shit? Doom, doom, doom. This shit exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And somebody said that you are handsome.
Uh-oh. All right, Path, at the
They
end of
said
this
that
shit,
man
what you
is
tell
so
him?
handsome.
Tell him, show you at the end of
shit.
this shit.
Oh,
Tell them I'm
shit.
single, shit.